like wondering. I was like, how do I start this off? Because I'm like,
we can't just bust in
yeah,
and say, we're not kidding. Because people really do think that
we're not it's not a good situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially my family.
And you know what? And it's so, I got to admit that I am ignorant to the fact of your feelings that you had for us, because I didn't jump on Facebook a lot. You know, I'm not, you know, I don't really go on the social media for negative stuff. And honestly, I wasn't listening to any of the morning shows.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wasn't hearing it myself. You know, and I did get a few text messages about, you know, oh, did you hear what such and such said? And I'm like, no, I didn't hear that. So, but I did get text messages about it. So, first of all, thank you for coming in. Because you don't have to. Because you did feel a certain way about 97.9 The Beat and Radio 1. You know what I'm saying?
I did.
You did. You felt a certain way about it because you used to work here. And then you left.
For 5 years.
For 5 years.
Yeah.
Happy.
I'll put it like this. Like, my love for radio just superseded the fact that, you know, whether I got along with this person or not or whatever, it was still the fun of it, you know, and then just... that was something that I always wanted to do, was, you know, be a radio personality. I love music of all genres, and it was my dream job. So if I didn't get along with this person or that person, still that time frame while you're at work, all you're thinking about is, this is fun. I'm going to make this fun.
We had fun.
So, yeah, we did. And you and I, we did have fun.
We did have fun.
We had plenty of twerk sessions.
Yes, yes. I mean, we
in
had
the studio.
We had a good time. So
we did. So I was shocked when I left when some of the stuff was.
Well, we're speaking with Kitty Jones. You recently had the article in the Rolling Stones magazine about R. Kelley. And so first of all, before we get into that, I'm going to apologize to you for everything that I said out of not meaning to be mean, but trying to be funny. You know, about, oh, R. Kelley sent Kitty home. Kitty left her job to be with R. Kelley. You know, just kind of talking about it and not talking to you about it. You know what I'm saying? I need to apologize to your family for causing them, you know, pain and frustration. It's bad enough that you're there and they're not sure what's going on, but for it to be trivial and joked about is even worse. So I do want to apologize to your family and to you first and foremost to let you know that, you know, I wish I hadn't have did that. It's not worth their, you know, emotional, you know, feelings for me to try to get a laugh off, you know, and not really knowing the situation. But let's rewind,
I accept your apology.
Thank you. Because we hung out. You know what I'm saying? We hung out. We went places together. Well, hell, we was at the after party for the R. Kelley. You know what I'm saying? When you met R. Kelley at that after party, I was there. Now, I was drunk. And probably a little mad he wasn't looking at me.
You escaped that way.
Yeah, I did. Didn't I? Thank you, Jesus.
And you were at my last birthday party before I left town.
We hung out. And so we're going to rewind back to when I remember R. Kelley courting you. And how did that happen?
While I was still working
While you're still working here. You met him at the party in Fort Worth. And
yeah.
What happened?
You mean like coming to work and how
that was like? How did he walk up to you? Did he say, yo, hey, what's your name?
It was just the regular thing that we do. You know, we introduce ourselves because he was there, you know, for the after party. And of course, at that time, I think we were responsible for uploading, like if we did a remote, we uploaded the photos from the remote or...
It was a remote, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I remember getting paid for it.
Yeah, it was
I think it was McHenry or whatever. I don't want to plug them, but yeah.
You did.
Okay. But it was definitely something that I got paid for, and I did go in for a photo with him, which is the photo you saw in Rolling Stone, and then when we, you know, went to shake hands, well, he insisted that we shake hands. That's when he slipped the phone number, and I explained that in the article as well. And then
I just got write the phone number down. Did he just have a phone number?
No, I think it was pre-made because over the years there are things that I saw. Yeah.
So
it was already.
He writes down his number
because he anticipates he's going to pass it. Yeah.
Is it his handwriting, or do you think somebody else writes it?
Absolutely not. I don't think so.
So there's somebody writing these little notes for R. Kelly to hand out when he's going out. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to like take his phone out and look like he's getting a phone number.
Uh-huh.
He's really private, so.
Okay. So after you got the note, then it was like how long ago before y'all talked after that?
We talked the same night, and then as far as seeing each other, it was about 2 months, 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And I remember the gifts,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember you courting him courting you, and I also remember you saying that he told you not to talk about it to your coworkers.
Yeah, because he didn't want it to look bad on me as far as being professional, and people always made him into like a joke, an ongoing joke. You know what I mean? So he didn't want me to be affected by that.
Mm.
So
now that you see
yeah.
what was really going on with R. Kelly, do you think people joking is appropriate?
Joking on
Like when they're the ongoing joke about R. Kelly, do you see some truth in it? Because what would be the ongoing joke about R. Kelly?
well,
The Pied Piper.
when I met him, I was, like anybody that you might hear any like previous rumors about, you get to know that person on your own, and then you form your own opinion of them. So I was very defensive. Of course, once you fall in love with somebody and then you start hearing people joke, it's not funny to you. Did I laugh before? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, when I got to learn more about who the man was, I was like, this isn't funny to me. Like when people would say, are you going to get, urinated on the Chicago
Golden showers.
Yeah, it was like fake pages that were being made around that time, and people would say these, nasty things to me because they heard this or heard that. It was hurtful because I was like, if they knew exactly, the person that he was, this isn't true about him,
Who is he? Like what?
He's damaged. He's damaged.
And he spoke about that too, being abused as a child in his book.
I didn't read the book, but I just know, like, in our private conversations, it was a lot of abuse, both sexes. And those are things that he confided in, with me. And we've had a lot of deep conversations about, just people in his personal life, over time betraying him and stuff like that. So that was kind of working on my
Psyche.
Yeah, it really
You
was.
wanted to protect him.
Yeah, I did.
Because he did a good job of swooing you, kind of making you believe that he's this good guy, that you're going to have a life with. Did you believe you and R. Kelly was going to be together forever?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I? The same way you get in any relationship, you want it to be happily ever after. You're not just in it for temporary. And then people know, I had permanent things in my life that I had worked hard for, so I didn't just give it up thinking, oh, I'm going to date him for 3 months.
Yeah, because that's a question a lot of people want to know. Why did Kitty leave her job, her apartment, her car, her everything to go be with R. Kelly? And you wasn't going just... Did you think that you were going to marry him, maybe?
There was a time frame that was probably gonna...
Did he talk about marriage to you?
I can't answer that right now.
Why? Because it hurts?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, I saw you go. And you was very happy, and we didn't talk about your actual conversations because I think you respected him that much to do that, but I would never sit here and judge a woman because she gave up something that she wanted for her life. What woman doesn't want to be married? What woman doesn't want the husband who can travel the world with? But what you didn't want was to be beat and disrespected.
Right.
That's it, But
yeah, you're not thinking that going in, and of course that behavior wasn't displayed to me until of course, I gave up everything and I moved there, and then you're under a different type of control when you don't have outside influences and.
How long before the first time y'all met up was at the hotel room in Denver, right?
Yes.
That's the first time you actually got to touch him since he slipped you the number in Fort Worth.
Correct.
So when that happened, it wasn't really the picture perfect type of situation, was it? Like when you got into the room.
It was bizarre, but it wasn't like a.
Because you already had freaky.
I mean, yeah,
sexting and stuff.
It led up to a lot, and then I felt comfortable with him, and I was like, wow, he trusts me to even be sending me these type of photos, and he's a person of that caliber. Yeah. So,
and I'm not,
we built up a trust. We built up a trust with each other.
Because a lot of women, not a lot of men, a lot of ununderstanding people would assume, oh, I walk into a room my first time seeing R. Kelley and he's got his thing out, but through all the text messages and you had, why wouldn't he? You know what I'm saying? Because we ready. Let's get it popping. Let's get this thing going,
Right.
So I understand how that might not be such an alarming, I
mean, it was bizarre, but it wasn't abusive to me, I just thought he got off in a weird way, he wanted me to model while he
ejaculated.
Pleasured himself. So, and then, I mean, the weekend was still fun.
Right.
I mean, I think I came back with a Prada bag or something
did?
that weekend.
You did?
I mean,
red bottoms or something.
Yeah, I had a lot of nice things. I mean, we had a fun weekend. He's a funny guy, don't get me wrong. And it was the same courting. It kept going. But, yeah, that was like the first sign of he has some weird habits.
Okay. Yeah. Now, but that is not warranted enough to say, I don't want to be with him.
Of course not. Of course not at that time.
When did the first situation happen where you got nervous and said, this is not what I signed up for?
Of course, after I moved there, but
the video,
I think I
was
described.
The first time
was it? I believe it was it wasn't you. My best friend LaToya is here, always very supportive, but I remember visiting for Thanksgiving, and I remember a friend of mine asking me if I ever saw the sex tape. And of course, by that time, I'm just, I'm in love with him. I don't want anybody to bring up anything negative. I had given up all these things.
And you heard about the sex tape before?
Yeah, I was on the radio, during that time when it was announced that he was acquitted. I remember the BET interview, but I always stay neutral. You report the news. You try to be neutral as well, Veda, like when it comes to certain things. Even like with the Nelly stuff that came out recently, you don't want to say, oh, I believe this or I don't. You just report it and let the people do the talking, right?
Right.
That's how I was with the R. Kelley stuff. I wasn't like, girl, did you see? And then if it was someone, I didn't want to watch it. I saw images of a person doing something, but I never watched the tape. So this particular trip home,
a friend
asked me if I had ever seen it, and I was furious with her for even bringing that up.
Do you think she did that out of a spite?
Yeah, that's how I felt, because I was happy at the time, and I was visiting, and all these things were going on. And I remember Googling it. I remember going to images. I remember seeing a face. And the reason I got really upset is because while I was in Chicago the first 3 weeks, he plays basketball a lot at night. And I remember he would clear out the bench and just have me sit by myself and have everyone else be on the other end. I have photos of that, by the way. But yeah, if he would go to a park to play basketball, he would clear it out so I can have that bench by myself. Like the whole, not just one bench, like the whole thing.
Side of the court.
Right.
What was that about?
He just didn't want people sitting next to me or guys getting an opportunity to talk to me while he was on the court. So this particular time, a girl came and sat next to me, and I noticed she was cheering for him a lot. And I was like, wow, But fast forward to that incident where the girl's sitting next to me. Well, when I saw the images on Google, it looked exactly like the girl that was sitting next to me the week before that he had introduced me to. And
the young lady that the allegedly in that videotape.
They looked very similar.
Right.
So I kept thinking, wait a minute, he introduced me to somebody that looks exactly like this person that I'm looking at right now. And I just became furious. I hit play on the video. And
you kind of got like that, like the main chick, like you ain't about to have any.
It wasn't even that. It's true. Like in my mind, I started thinking, this can't be the same person that I'm looking at that in this video that looks just like the girl that I saw last week.
Because you didn't believe the video.
No.
And then at this
I didn't watch it. I didn't see it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you hadn't even looked at it then.
No, I just saw like images. I didn't know what the hell happened. I just knew that he got off. Okay, so a lot of things were going through my mind. Like, okay, here it is, 2011. This tape came out in 2002. That's 9 years ago. I'm doing the math, and I'm thinking, she's still around. If this is, you know what I mean?
Because you don't know
right.
Exactly.
And then I'm thinking, what role does she play in his life? Did he do this to her? Like, all these things are going through my mind, and I'm crying. I'm furious. So that's when I called him, and he demanded that I get back to Chicago immediately because I'm listening to other, he's using a lot of language or whatever, expletives, and demanding that I get back on the flight the next day.
Why was you had came back to do what?
It was Thanksgiving week.
Oh, okay.
Just to hang out with my family.
So you would travel back and forth with him?
Early on. It was the first 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, when I got back, that was the first time. Yeah.
Physical
he was furious that I had asked him about the tape.
And then after that physical altercation, did they come more frequently?
Yeah, like I would say around the spring of 2012. Yeah, that's when it got really bad.
What would the time frame, like what would be going on, like? So
there were several different instances, like I don't want to get specific, but he doesn't like for you to draw attention to yourself. He doesn't want the attention to be off of him. I had to like turn my chair like towards him if we were all having dinner with other celebrities. I remember laughing. I don't want to name the celebrity, but I remember laughing at a joke. This is before I knew better. And he would slap me, not in front of them, but
he would
behind closed doors. If I would forget to stand up, when he would walk in the room, things like that.
You would get physically.
Yeah, he'll clear the room and then,
And so these people that are on his team there watching this, what is their expressions? What do they ever speak to you or they comfort you?
No, they wouldn't dare. I was describing this, I think, as well in Rolling Stone. I remember visiting and waiting on him in his studio, and there's like these 2 stairs you have to kind of walk up while it's like a sunken room, and then you have like these 2 steps to go up to the other level of the room to sit on the couches. And I remember stumbling over that, and I literally almost fell with my bags, and the guys were just sitting stiff, like, tunnel vision. They were still typing. It wasn't, are you okay? You're going to kill yourself up there. Nothing. They just knew not to turn around and talk to me. And then when he came in the studio, he peeped his head in and said, babe, come here. And so when I walked out, he said, they talked to you? And then I said, no. And he was like, so on your way here, did the guy say anything to you? Did you say anything to him? Okay, so the next time you come, don't wear stuff like that. I got to train you. I got to teach you how to be with daddy and things like that, trying to make sure I knew, like, not to wear fitting clothes. Don't talk to the guys, not even a hello. And they knew, if you've been working with this person for 10 years or more, you knew that would infuriate him if, you spoke to one of his girlfriends. You know what I mean? So.
Did you sometimes blame them? Like, why didn't y'all help me?
Mm, there was one runner. I think I turned over those text messages as well. Um, he was, he just looked disgusted.
He was tired of it.
He knew that I was confined to um, a specific room, and he would knock on the door and hand me my food and leave. I would send him a list of things that I needed, your personal items as a woman. He would go and get those things, and he'll knock on the door, and he would know when I was starving. He knew because he wasn't allowed to respond back to me if I was on punishment, so to speak.
Yeah.
So he
so
would feel
R.
really
Kelly
bad.
would inform everyone.
Don't
Kitties,
respond back.
Don't respond back.
Yeah.
Until he puts out the word.
Yeah, you can go take her order from 2 days ago, type of thing.
And when this was happening, now Latoya's here. You would text Latoya. Now, and to me, that's very desperate because Latoya's here in Texas. How is she to get you food? Have you ever gotten her food during these texts? How did you do that, Toya?
I mean, when you order a pizza,
you would just order a pizza from here. Tell about it.
Well, it's one of those where she'll send me a text and say, hey, basically what's in the Rolling Stone, can you send me a pizza because he's not here? He won't be here until such and such time. So she'll give me the address as to where she's located. I'll go online. She'll let me know what pizza place is near. I'll go online, order the pizza, and have it delivered to her.
And at that time, I wasn't upfront about what was happening to me.
What was she telling you?
Lies.
Like what? Like what? What did she? How could you get past that? Because here she is out here with R. Kelly, and here you are at home, doing your thing, providing for your family. So did you have this thing like, why I gotta buy you pizza, and you out there with R. Kelly?
I would make her think he wasn't there, or I didn't have my phone. I mean, my card or money on me, and I'm like, oh, he's at the gym.
Did you believe her?
Not all the time. No. But I knew. I mean, we've been friends for a long time. So, in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to let my friend starve. So I'll just,
But would you ever talk to her about what your feelings were?
Oh, she knew. Yeah, we had those discussions. Oh, yeah.
Whenever you had your phone?
Oh, you got to tell them about when I would have my phone. But you know what? Once she started picking up on what was happening, she knew that he was reading my text messages, so she would play the game.
I had to play the mind game.
And what was that?
Because due to the fact I knew he was reading the text message, if he knew I would speak negative about him towards the text, I knew that he would not let us communicate. So for me, I would give her words of encouragement and like, hey, Bible scriptures or stuff like that. He knew I was like the church girl, don't go clubbing or anything like that. So he felt comfortable with
me talking to her,
communicating with me. So I'm like, okay, I know he's reading these texts. So then you're like, hey sis, just checking on you. How you doing? Are you enjoying your day? We'll just have normal conversations where he won't think, oh, she don't like me or anything like that.
Because even when I would come to visit here, he was only comfortable with me
coming to my house,
being at her house.
How would you know where you would be at?
That was my boyfriend. He had to know where. Yeah. Oh, well, I had to FaceTime and show him what I was wearing the whole time. He's not one to just believe
everything you say.
Right. So
we'll take selfies and stuff. Just so
I had to FaceTime a lot. Yeah.
What would you say like when she would come here? Did you ever try to talk her into staying, or did you? What would you?
Well, she always knew whenever that time came that she wanted to just straight leave. She can always come to my house, but I never would be like, girl, you need to leave him,
because I wasn't giving her the truth out at that time either. So.
So the most asked question, and I'm sure you get this question all the time, is, well, why didn't Kitty leave? Because she's grown. And do you really? First of all, do you really think it's a cult? When that word cult came out, did you consider yourself a part of a cult?
I can see why people would think that because it's very controlled. Um,
Latoya's shaking her head yes.
but I didn't meet them right away. So when all these things started playing back in my head, I got to train you. I got to teach you how to be with me. I want to introduce you to the other girls. They're close friends of mine. I raised this girl. Yeah, when you step away from it, you're like, wow, we were all dressed alike. I'm sitting there looking to the left and my right, and we all have on, the jogging suits, from Pink at the Victoria. You know what I mean? Like it's hard looking at old photos. I was able to find a couple of old pictures of me and dressed like that. You know what I mean? And then I noticed, even recently, people that he's trying to act like this is who he's with. I've seen them in the same outfits. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Snapchatting and yeah, and I'm like, wow, he used to make us wear those. You know what I mean? So, I don't know who came up with the word cult, but I guess if it fits that description, then that's what it was.
I think it came out more so when the family of the young lady right now that actually contacted you, because this is really why you decided to tell your story. Am I right? Because
Absolutely.
of this, the family. What's the young lady's name?
I don't want to mention.
Okay, well,
people know that there's a family that's trying to still get their daughter back, and the daughter's still there. But yeah, they contacted me in December. Now I'm living a quiet life. I had, let me go back to your question when you said, why didn't I just leave? Considering the fact that I gave all that up and you're embarrassed, you're ashamed. And then the times that I did think, I want to go back home, I was like, what am I going to go back to? What use am I when I walk out of here? I was defining myself by, being this strong person, successful. I was the go-to person for, advice with my friends, when they were in relationships. I was like, I'm being completely embarrassed at the radio station. There were opportunities when he would be in the news, for foreclosure. Oh, Kitty's going to come back with a backpack and homeless. I was getting those text messages in Chicago, and that was hurting me because I was like, they're laughing at me at my old job. They're laughing. If I go and explain this to my family, they're going to be disappointed in me. So, of course, you're thinking, and then your boyfriend is, always being made fun of. So you're thinking, I'm in this. I'm stuck. What else is there? Like, it's, you feel like you're you and him against the world type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And
even when you're getting, well, I'm not even gonna say even when you're getting beat, because
I didn't feel like I had an ally. I wasn't brave enough to tell my best friend. I couldn't call an old coworker or feel like I had anybody would embrace me here because people thought it was funny. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I didn't feel like I had anything to come back to. I had family, but like I said, they thought I was happy. I was always looked at as a strong person. And if you keep in mind, like, Tina Turner was getting beat in the 70s. She didn't start telling her story until the 90s. And this is by another famous man. Michelle was getting her ass kicked in the 80s and early 90s. She just told her story to Lifetime a year ago. And I think there needs to be a lifted statute of limitations on filing charges, because sometimes, it may be a year or two where you're just ashamed and you don't want to talk about it, and you're depressed and you're suicidal like I was. And then the next year you're angry, you know what I'm saying? And then the next year you're like, I'm going to talk about this, which is the phase that I'm in right now. And now it's, it's like, wait a minute, I might want to go ahead and pursue this now because I'm strong enough. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't strong enough at first. Because you were weak.
You were very weak. You left everything you had.
Right.
Don't have, did you ever have physical money?
He kept tabs on a lot, but there were times where I had money, but there was always an assistant or somebody with me that went shopping with me. So it wasn't like I'm saving up this cushion, Now, I will tell you, the way that I escaped the situation was I told him, look, I want to take my son school shopping. He's starting high school. He gave me a lump sum. He did check my suitcases my best friend knows about all this, to make sure I had the sweatpants in there and I wasn't coming to Dallas to party. So I had money then, so I was able to get an apartment when I got here, maybe
With
about
the
a month
money
later.
that he gave you to
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was, he thought I was going to get back on the plane that Saturday to come back, and I never did. So he proceeded to book a show at a club at the time. I don't know if it's even still Medusa.
No, it's not still here.
Okay.
She's Medusa.
Medusa. And it was November of 2013. So it was about a month after I got back, he booked that. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to kill me, you know. Because I had never gotten back on the plane the month before. So I'm thinking this is an opportunity, because I left everything. I did come back to Dallas with 2 suitcases. Imagine everything you've built up over the years, you know, your wardrobe, all the stuff you bought. You know, we had toured together. I bought all these things, you know. We're in California, we're in Miami.
Come back with nothing.
Nothing. So I'm thinking he had these things on the bus, you know, when he came back.
Why, to give them to you?
Yeah, because we had communicated up a little bit up until, and I'm thinking, oh, he's not mad at me.
What was he saying?
I mean, he told me he wasn't mad at me. He loved me. I knew his album was coming out. There were a couple of songs on there that...
For you?
Yes. Actually, he retweeted one of the songs the other day.
What was the song?
And I kind of felt like that was a dig at me. I don't even want to plug it, but...
Don't.
I think it was letting me know, after he put a quote under it, that...
You still follow him on
Kind
Twitter?
of get under...
How did you
someone
hear
told
that?
me.
Oh, okay.
Someone told me.
Okay.
I mean, it's that fear that he wants.
He's a manipulator.
Right.
He's a
And
manipulator.
I'm not going to lie. Did I not get scared when I saw that?
Mm-hmm.
I did. There is still some fear.
Well, you should be scared. You was being
Right.
starved,
Mm-hmm.
beaten,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, physically, mentally, everything. You was tortured.
Right.
You was a tortured woman. I mean, anytime you can't eat for 3 days, is that when tell me about your third day of not having any food. What's going through your mind?
Well, by then, I mean, that's when I would see him, you know.
And you're in a state of, I need you now.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a
yeah,
mad
you're
state.
apologizing.
You're not even mad anymore.
I mean, you're apologizing, you're crying, you're begging, you're like, Daddy, what did I do? I'm sorry. And then you're like, go over whatever he's mad at you about, and then you're trying to explain yourself. And I just, you know, looking back on it now, I mean, yeah, he would eat those things up because that made him feel like a king, you know? And even when I was going through those things, he would every now and then maybe check on me or something, but I'm telling you, it did get to the point where, you know, when a door would open, I would be scared. If I heard a door shut, I would be nervous, you know. His voice would scare me.
Does it still scare you?
Yes. He just called me as recent as May. I think it was Memorial Weekend. He called me like 3 times in one day.
Did you know it was him calling?
I saw a Chicago number, and I was like, nah, this can't be him. And then he texted me, and then I was like, whoa. And then he called real quick, and he was whispering. And I was like, why would he be calling me? And I'm telling you, like, it was the scariest. My heart was beating through my chest. I can't even.
And he hasn't had a
describe
chance to touch you or anything from when you got on that plane and came here to Dallas? With the school money.
He attacked me when I saw him in November when he came. When I thought I was going to get my stuff off the bus. That was the last time.
You saw him.
Right.
And he attacked you?
Right.
Because you initially said you thought he was
I
going to
thought
have
we
your
were good.
stuff, your red bottoms on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. Here goes the stuff that you left in Chicago. But he attacked you.
Right.
In front of people?
No. No one was.
Were y'all on the bus?
Mm-hmm.
You got on the bus.
I did.
Did you honestly feel like maybe I can make it work again?
During that time, there was a lot of, like I said, I was dealing with a lot of personal outside of that. You know, just getting my family back on track, and I had a couple of friends that were backstabbing me, and you know what I mean. And I just didn't feel like I had a friend here. You know, just
Except LaToya.
Yeah, no, I mean like professionally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had talked to other people in the business, and they were like, well, we have some concerns because of XYZ type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of felt like, Can't go back to that. You know what I mean? So
You lost.
right. So,
I mean, it's a natural.
I did contemplate wanting to go back because I said I left and I'm walking into another hell.
And see, this is what women need to hear, Kitty.
Right.
Because a lot of women, I've been abused, physically, date raped.
Mhm.
You get out, and then a lot of times we go back. We go back.
Yeah.
And then you get beat again. And then you don't tell nobody, and you go back. So I can understand you having emotions in your body saying, yo, I was taken care of. Okay, I didn't eat. I got beat here and there. But it was a life that I knew. Opposed to being
And I didn't
here.
Right. And I didn't have to explain all these.
Because you was high. You could hide.
Right.
You could hide.
Right.
And you hit it very well. You could hide it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hide out here.
Mm-hmm.
You tried to. When you got back
Yeah.
a little bit. And you did a little bit. But
Oh, yeah.
But I can understand if you ever thought, maybe I'll try it again. Maybe when you got back on that bus, like, let me see what.
Well, when I got on the bus, I did actually want my thing.
Stop.
I was like, girl, I want my rib on. But, it was hard because I came from, I wasn't hurting financially.
No, Kitty, you were not. It wasn't like you needed.
Right,
Yeah.
so it was just kind of
You
like.
was driving the BMW, the Mercedes, had a nice shape, you had attention. So
It was hard getting back on my feet. You know what I'm saying? When I got here, I was like, whoa, I really have to pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I just took on a regular job and dated a regular person. And, it was just like, okay, maybe nobody will recognize me for the next, whenever I can, get strong enough to start talking about this. If it'll ever happen. And I was hoping it would never happen. But like I said, every time he would come in the news, I would have this anxiety that people will remember that I was with him. It made me go back into like a state where I was like, oh my God, I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to answer the phone because he's in the news this week. You know what I mean? It was scary for me. Very.
Wow, that is scary.
So if it wasn't for the parents contacting me in December, I don't know. God has his way of making it on his timing.
It always is on
Maybe
his
he feels like, hey, you're strong enough, and because you are the one that's older than everybody else, that everybody's focused on, oh, she's older. Maybe it was meant for me to be the older one because I'm the strongest to go ahead and blow the lid off of it. I mean, I don't know why I was chosen for it and why people decide to believe me after they've been complaining about him for 25 years. That's fine, but maybe I can handle it. You know what I mean?
When you were there, speaking on being the older one, would you notice, would you say to yourself, these girls look young? Would you say to yourself, were they that young looking? Or?
I look young.
Well, you do. You do.
They didn't know how old I was.
It wasn't an alarming type of. Now you know how old you are, but what I'm saying is, did you get alarmed? Were you seeing young women like, whoa, these are really, really young women around here?
I'm gonna say
I know
this.
you do. You are young looking, and you would have never been there. But looking around you, were they particularly really young babies?
I will say this, just because during the time that I don't know what's happening now, but the two girls that lived in the same quarters that I did, we had different ends of the whatever. I didn't even know that they were girlfriends for a while or whatever. But
he would tell you they were.
Oh, this person is a writer, or this person. Well, he did call one of them his pet. She was the one that would please everybody, so to speak, but not.
She's the one that he made you have relations with.
Right. So,
it was just her.
She's the one that
would travel to different rooms and put on.
Well, I don't know what she did to anybody else, but I just know that was the main person that he would have.
Come around and do his thing. That's his pet. His thing.
That's who he was comfortable with joining us, if that makes sense. But she was in her late 20s. Did
you ever get a chance to speak?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the person he would send to go shopping with me, and.
Wow. So she must have been there for a while. Did you ever
He
see
did tell me
anybody
he
leave?
raised her.
Raised her.
Yeah, and she had to be about 14
Wow.
when
He
they
started.
met. Right.
Wow. When he tells you that, what do you're like? Do you get scared?
Well, basically because I knew how old she was, and then when he said, "Oh, I've been raising her for 15 years," you do your own math. So by that time, like I said, the tape thing, I had watched it.
You saw
I
that?
was already in it. So anything else after that, even some other things he admitted to me regarding other celebrities, I just put in the back of my mind, like, I didn't hear that. I didn't just hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was already in
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I was
That's
protected.
just
of
like
him.
when a woman knows her man is cheating, you
Mhm.
know he's cheating, but
Right.
you choose not to believe it. You choose
Mhm.
not to see it, and you ignore it until you're ready to deal with it. You know, if you deal with it, because you
Mhm.
know I don't like. I hear people judging you about, oh, why didn't she leave? Why didn't she leave? But you got to be in that situation before you can actually tell somebody, oh, you would leave.
And who
Oh,
leaves
I
immediately?
would go. I would do this.
Right.
I would do that. You got to be there in order to know what you would do.
How long did it take for you when you were in your abusive relationship to leave?
It took for me to almost lose my job and go to rehab.
Mhm.
And it took me.
So it's not the
and when I
first
got-
incident.
Oh no!
It's not the
no, no,
second.
No, no,
It's
no.
not the third.
No, this man put a gun out on me before,
Mhm.
years before, and I still went back.
Mhm.
And I told my friends, "Oh yeah, me and him are dating again," and they were like, "What the?" Okay, okay, okay. And then I just had to go through it. I had to get hit. I had to,
Right.
this nigga punched me, damn near broke my jaw with my own hand.
Mhm.
You know, like, what the hell did it just happen? I couldn't eat for like a damn near a week. And he did this with my own hand. So I do know. You can't tell somebody what you would do unless you there.
And I know people now that are in it, and they're married to that person, and they.
And that's why it's so beautiful that you're able to come forward. And that's
Mhm.
when we mean God has you doing this because you ready. And you are a testimony to a lot of women.
Thank you.
A lot of women, a lot of little girls, grown women, some men, anybody that's in a situation to where they feel like they're lost and can't make it.
Mhm.
You're telling them, yeah, you can.
And I'm just like everybody else. I'm an everyday girl. I'm not, I
Not
was
from-
on the radio.
Not from the
people-
back. This bitch. I remember when you came back one time and visited in the studio, and
Mhm.
that's one of the first things I said to you. I said, "Katie, you lost weight," and you said, "Oh, he just makes me eat salmon."
Yeah, I was still covering for him
Yeah, you was
at the
covering.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I lost about 25 pounds. I was about 132 pounds when I left here, and I was 107
Yeah,
when I got
and
back.
I remember specifically. She said, "Girl, he be having me working out and eating salmon all the time," and I'm thinking, "Oh, well, that's awesome."
Veggie burgers.
Yeah, I'm thinking, oh,
That was true,
she's
though.
having a yeah. You covered very well,
Yeah.
because I'm thinking, oh, he out there got her with personal trainers and on all of this, and he must really be living the life, and he got you hooked up, but in all, it wasn't what that was, and you just couldn't talk about it then, just like a lot of women dealing with it right now, can't talk about it.
Yeah. I remember being on tour with him, and of course I didn't get any punishments during that time because I just remember, I don't know if you remember the tour.
When y'all came, I saw that you said when you came to Dallas, he was like, "Yeah, let's show these mothers."
Because you guys were talking about me on the radio, and he was furious at you guys at the time.
Right.
So he was like,
and we
"Your
are
old
apologizing
job."
to Kitty.
Yes.
I am.
Thank you so much,
I-
Veda, and I know it's
again,
sincere. I believe
I'm
you.
apologizing to you.
Thank you.
Anytime, it's no secret. I get on there and I do the hot mess and I talk
Right,
about people,
right.
but I also talk about myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And if any time I need to issue an apology, I'm woman enough and big enough to do so. Because
Thank you.
everybody is not right all the time.
Mhm.
People don't act like we all don't make mistakes and we don't
Mhm.
all mess up. And when I realized I did, it was time for me to be the bigger person and apologize to you.
And
know.
I've accepted you. And I just want people to know, like, Veda and I were friends. I mean, we had a lot of laughs in the studio, and things got back to me. It wasn't like we ever had a verbal, what I'm
we
saying?
never got on the phone and like, bitch, what you say?
Yeah,
Or
it was never
anything.
that. It was just like, you thought you were doing your job, and then I kind of felt a certain way because I thought, oh, there should be some camaraderie because I worked there before, that type of thing.
And there wasn't, and I apologize for that.
Yeah, and I just, I see your side of it, but then I'm happy that you see my side, and then you didn't know the back story.
And it could have been Kitty, and I'm not even
either,
gonna tell you.
so.
I'm one of the largest haters. You know what I'm saying? So here you are, in my mind, living this beautiful life. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I really don't even recall what I said because that stuff takes my memory away. But I do know that whatever it wasn't meant to hurt you. It was just meant to just say some stupid stuff. For a second, I felt a little bit of responsibility. I felt like I pushed her out there, even though Kitty told me she was going to go anyway. But Kitty, you came to your coworker and you're like, hey, what do I do? R. Kelley wants me to come live with them. And I'm like, I was quoted in Rolling Stone magazine. You only live once, bitch. Go. Go.